What's up? What's up? I'm going live today to talk about harmony, and got a couple of worksheets here for you, and we're gonna use the Sam Rivers piece, Beatrice, which is one of my favorite pieces, always has been, to play. It's got a great vamp in it, and I played it last night on a gig, and it felt so good to play it again. It's been a long time. So I'll play it through right now, and then we'll get into the vamp and all the possibilities that are there. And yeah, I want to give you a framework for thinking about harmonization and reharmonization that you can apply with your own creative imagination on anything you want to play with the harmony. All right. So this is the vamp right here. Such a beautiful tune. And there's so many ways you can approach it, but it doesn't need a lot, right? It's just a great tune. Robert Glasper did a cool version of this in one of his early records, where he combined it. What do you combine it with? Radiohead song? I'm forgetting. I just love this tune. It's really beautiful. And that vamp at the end gives us so many possibilities. So I wrote out a couple. Took a little time just to curate this so we don't waste a lot of time with watching my thinking process, which I think can be valuable to watch a professional thinking things through. But in this case, I've already done some thinking things through. Our vamp is G minor, G flat major, F minor, G flat major. To be more clear with the melody, oops, sorry. My brain is in so many places. By the way, here's some nice voicings. Just a little tidbit here. I call this thickening the soup. You can take a root position, 1, 3, 5, 7, and add the 4. So for minors, you add the 4. Thickening the soup. Just a little extra cream. What made that so fancy? You just say root position, add the 4. For majors, you add the 2. 1, 2, 3, 5. So on a vamp like this, you can get a lot out of these thick soup voicings and not have to do a whole lot with your left hand. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7 for F minor. And see how it's just a root position, but you're creating 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, and then back here. Just, for me, having these kind of voicings at the ready really helps reduce the cognitive load, and then I can be more fluid and creative with my right hand. There's all sorts of other things you can do, but like these guys, minor 9/11 voicings, I like these a lot. Clusters. Like one of those. Meld out voicings. These guys. 3, 5, 8, 9. Big fat clusters. All right, so let's get into the reharm now. All right, so this is what I would categorize as a modern jazz reharm. I'm really creating movement and complexity, and then we could take a burning solo over this that would sound really cool and modern. Somebody like Emmanuel Wilkins could just absolutely crush this. Or Taylor IXD on the piano, right? Drummer, right? Etc. Right? So that's like my modern jazz reharm. Now let me show you my neo soul reharm, which is a little different. In this one, we're going to use some different strategies. So thinking maybe slow it down a tiny bit. feel that one is really different, right? I'm still using G minor 7 as the first chord. Do we have to? No. But these are just a couple of examples of all the different places we can go. So let's zoom out now and let's talk about harmony and why I would make some of these choices, why you could make any number of choices. And let me give you this framework right here to think about, which is the way I like to think about harmonic progression, musical progression, really, over time. If you look at this kind of three-dimensional grid sphere visualization, you see on the top is melody, and then in the middle is chord, and on the bottom is bass, right? And where we're starting from with all this in terms of the relationships is key. Right? What key are we in? Sometimes, in rare cases, there is no key, but most of the time we have a key or an implied key, okay? And then we have this vertical relationship of melody, chord, and bass that happens at every given signpost in a tune. Basically, every moment there's some interaction between melody, chord, and bass. And each one of those has its own integrity, okay? Oftentimes, a lot of the time, they work together. But sometimes there's incongruity between melody, chords, and bass. One or the other, or all three of them kind of moving in their own directions for a moment or a progression, and then coming back together. So I want to just lay that out there right away, is that we have these three parallel kind of functions happening, and each has their own integrity, and they can or cannot be aligned at all times. And as you go forward, you have patterns that emerge, or strategies that are being applied, right? And those are oftentimes kind of just synonymous, pattern and strategy. A strategy will create a pattern, but I want you to think of them as kind of going hand in hand, because we don't want to apply strategies willy-nilly and not recognize and utilize the patterns that emerge. Okay? So, melody, chord, bass. In this case, just to continue with Beatrice, that's basically the melody, right? And Sam Rivers is loose with the end of that phrase sometimes in his recording. So, but basically, we're dealing with like these three notes. Maybe the A flat, but really these three are our central notes. And that, when you have a simple melody like this, gives you a lot of room for possibilities. Now our chords are G minor, G flat, F minor, G flat, okay? And our bass is following the chords in the original version. Okay, now there are, again, each one of these melody, chord, and bass functions can be altered. And so before you even think about complex strategies, think about what would happen if I shifted my bass note. I'm going to bring this over here so you can potentially zoom in and read that. What would happen if I shifted my bass note? What would happen if I changed the chord quality? So instead of minor playing major, that's just an example. What would happen if I tweaked the melody? In this case, the melody's simple enough, there's not much reason to tweak it. But maybe we play a little bit less notes, or maybe there's a time when we do want to tweak it. In my arrangements here, I have not really tweaked the melody. The big question, though, okay, which you always have to ask as a musician, is why? And as a creative musician, okay, I've had so many students who gain skills, knowledge, and an inventory of possibilities, but they apply them in a way that I don't understand why. It's not obvious to my ear. And not that it has to be obvious, but like it's oftentimes it can even become unintelligible. And so we've got to think about, why am I doing that? And that is where strategy and pattern come into play. Strategy and pattern gives you coherence. All right, I'm just going to lift this up a little bit. Strategy and patterns give you coherence. And then, okay, we can talk about choices and the subjectivity of it, and aesthetics and the subjectivity of that, right? Okay, obviously everybody's aesthetic, feeling is subjective, but harmonic gravity and color are scientific and measurable, okay? Articulable, I like that word. You can speak them. You can say really what they are. We have a circle of fifths. If we go one direction harmonically, it creates more brightness, at least in theory, right? Harmonic brightness. If we go the other direction, adding flats, creates harmonic darkness, right? There are relationships within that, 5 to 1s and 4 to 1s and 2 5-1s and chromatic relationships. And in the more nitty-gritty, we have voice leading relationships, right? And common tones and leading tones and suspensions. And all of these things create gravity. They create brightness, darkness, anticipation, expectation of release from tension, or tension after release, and then this sense of inevitability, which then you get to toy with as an arranger or a composer. Okay, harmonic gravity and color is scientific and articulable. Therefore, you can find, identify, replicate, iterate, understand, and employ your knowledge in service of your creativity. Okay, I'm going to read that all as if it were one long idea. We can shift the bass note, we can change the chord quality, we can tweak a melody, but why? It is strategy and pattern that creates coherence. Strategy and pattern that creates coherence. Choices are subjective. What it means to you and what it feels like to you is subjective, but harmonic gravity and color is scientific and articulable, and therefore you can find, identify, replicate, iterate, understand, and employ your knowledge in service of your creativity. So, let's talk about strategy and pattern. All right, I have this sheet here. I've got it on the screen for you, harmonizing a melody. We've talked about relationships here. The relationships go all directions, right? Bass has a relationship to key, chord does, melody does. Bass has a relationship to the chord and to the melody, and vice versa. All have relationships. Then a little bit meta level, we have the pattern and the strategy that's happening. So, inherent in this tune, we have a chromatic bass line. Right. We have a G minor 9 and an F minor 9. And then in between them, we have this major 7, which is a color shift. Actually, all of this is a color shift because we're shifting between like F, like this tune starts in F major when the melody starts. And then it shifts to G flat major. So the tune is a color shift exercise almost. We have B flat minor, F over A, B flat major, and then 2-5 to D minor, which is in the key of F minor, right? So D minor. Then we get a resolution to G minor, which is the 2 of F, right? But it's really the 2 of F majors. This G minor is like an F major. It has the A natural. And then, whoa, this G flat major 7, sharp 11, which is like from the F Phrygian mode, G flat Lydian here. And then your normal F minor, and then this mode again. So each one of these is a color shift. If we think about the relative major on the circle of fifths, okay, G minor, we can think of it as relative to B flat or relative to F. Either way, let's just choose one. Let's call it the 2 in F major. Okay, so this is like an F major mode because I would feel this in like a G Dorian. So we'll call it F major. This one, G flat Lydian, this is the same as D flat major. So jumping from F major to D flat major, think about that on the circle. 1, 2, 3, 4 stations away. So that's like a third of the way around the circle. And which direction did we go? We added flats, right? So we got darker. From here, this is brighter, this is darker. You feel that? That's what's happening. Brighter, darker. And then this guy. Ooh, it's so lush and beautiful. And where's F minor coming from? Let's call it Aeolian. So it's A flat major. Yeah. If we thought of it as Dorian, then it would be E flat major. So either way, it's in between F and D flat, right? It's either E flat or A flat. So, and again, I'm speaking of relative major modes, so that we can situate ourselves on the circle of fifths. F major. Even though it's a minor 7, this is going to wind up feeling bright because we go here and it's so much darker, right? All the way to D flat major and then to back in the bright direction, but not a lot, right? Just 1 or 2 steps back. So we're back from D flat major to A flat or E flat, one of those. I think A flat. So just 1 back. You feel that? Bright, very dark, less dark. Bright, very dark, less dark. And then it actually goes bright, very dark, less dark, very dark. Because we go back here. And what's so interesting about that also, now that we're talking about it, is that the bright, harmonically bright sound is G minor, right? And minor isn't supposed to be bright, but relative. And we're talking about relationships here. Harmony is so relational. So relative to G flat major, G minor feels bright. And then we go to G flat major, and that's actually the darkest harmonic move, is to go to G flat Lydian, which is D flat major. So we're in a minor chord when it's the brightest, and a major chord when it's the darkest. And then a minor chord brings us a little brighter, back to the major chord, which is the darkest. So interesting, isn't it? I love this stuff. Okay, I'm nerding out, I know, but that's who I am, and that's what we love to do as inspired contemporary pianists. All right. Okay, so let's talk about why I would make the choices that I made. And then you can think about the choices you might want to make. So instead of going to here, I decided to move the bass note. Okay, this is just G flat major 7 again, right? And I put the B flat in the bass. I just wanted to change the feeling. So there's a lift rather than a pull down. And I'm doing that by actually literally moving the bass note up rather than down, right? Woo. Now, I'm getting there with a passing chord. This is F2 over A, F sus2 over A, and then G flat major 7, G flat major 7 sus2 over B flat. And this passing chord could be thought of in a couple of ways. I like to call this a leading tone slash chord, which leads up to B flat. F over A leads to B flat. But in this case, the bass movement is leading tone, right? It's like 6, 7, 1 kind of motion, but harmonically, this is more of a parallel move. It's F2 over A to G flat 2 over B flat. All right, now take a look at the sheet here, and you'll see the strategies here. Functional harmony or cadence. Okay, that's like your 5 to 1s and 4 to 1s and 2 5 1s. Parallel structures, that's what this is. The F2 over A going to G flat 2 over B flat. Chromatic dominance, that's like another thing, like, you know, C7 altered to D flat major. Color shift, this is what we're talking about with shifting the color. Some of these have overlaps, right? Common tones, we'll get there, and voicing the melody, really opening Pandora's box and just using the melody as a top note and choosing a chord. So I'm not really doing that in here, but we'll see. We might be able to call something here a little Pandora's boxy. This is a little bit of a Pandora's box moment, actually. What chord do I want to play over C? The bass is following the pattern. It's following the upward motion. And then I'm going to keep going up because I want to keep pushing that feeling of going up, all right? So this whole thing becomes an upward motion. It goes to C sharp, then I go to D, then I go to E flat, and then E, F, G flat. So it becomes actually 2 cycles is this reharm. You do a nice like double diminished on this. But I'll let this guy So C13 sus. This could just as easily be C altered dominant to D flat major. There's actually quite a few possibilities here. I don't mind that. It could also be like C sus to like B flat minor 6 over D flat. I like that too, actually. It's a little bit cadential kind of vibe. Especially if I do like B flat minor 6 to F major triad over B flat here. Now, either way, the left hand, you see the bass moving up. Let's do this one. If you want an example of dual functionality or multiple functionality going on right here, this is it. Melody is here. That's just like a holding note in the key. Right? It actually should go there, right? So maybe this is an instance where I change the melody and just leave it on C. I don't mind moving the melody though. Or if we go to B flat minor 6, this creates a minor plagal cadence to F. But we're going to put F as an upper structure triad over B flat over D. B flat over D. Okay, this is where harmony can get really fun and complex. Maybe I change a melody like that instead of da 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 da, I go da 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 da. Right? So we can always go back, but we want to have a why. Right? Why? Because my harmony is changing the color. I went like this. Very dark, right? I'm still in G flat major. Like G flat Lydian land, which is D flat major. And then da da da. Whoa, now I'm going back to basically F major. Oh no, F major. C13 sus. A diminished leading chord here. Okay? Now this is a functional. If I use the diminished, this is functional harmony. Diminished leading up, right? Normally C sharp diminished would lead to D minor. And we could do D minor, but I like that raised fifth there that creates like a B flat over D sound. Da, 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 da. Yeah. See how that all makes sense? Diminished leading to D. But I want the color that I want because I want the feeling. And these chords, these like, sus2 over the third chords give me a certain lift feeling. And so I'm rolling with that because I already had one here. Woo! And this is that G flat sus2, but I can't resolve this to like, because of the melody. The melody's C, right? Okay, so. We get here, and I want to keep lifting, I want to keep going up. So, bass note. There's lots of choices here for E flat. I just like this vibe. Maybe even with like a 7 too. If I was playing this down here, probably play it like that. probably would play it like that. I'm realizing that if anybody is wanting to interact and leave a comment or something, I'm not seeing it. Ah, there is a comment. Oh, it's Umiyaru. What's up, man? G flat major is N+6 chord. Ooh. I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry. I'm a harmony nerd, but I haven't studied all of the things. Is that a Neapolitan add 6? I'm not sure. Honestly, I got frustrated with traditional harmony, or like learning Western harmony, because it was like just a whole set of new nomenclature laid over the top of my jazz nomenclature, and it's just too much information for my brain. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm thinking of this G flat major as just G flat Lydian, or G flat major 7, sharp 11. Color shift, and that leading of the diminished, it's a functional cadence. It has to lead you somewhere diminished always. But then we're gonna lift a little bit more. B flat over D. Ooh, E flat minor, I like it. And then we're gonna use these chords again, because I'm still trying to lift, and actually I know where I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get back to G minor. So I need to get to here for the next round, right? So I'm gonna go up in this G flat. We can go C over E, D flat over F, and resolve to G flat major 7 sharp 11 again. Bring back in the original harmony of the tune, which is G flat major 7 to G minor. All right, and those are the things that I'm thinking about. So the strategy, you can see this, the strategy of color shifting happening, the strategy of functional harmony happening, really only once with the diminished. And even then, I tweaked the harmony a little bit when it resolved, so it's not obvious, right? And let's see, there is a little bit of common tone thinking going on. And then there are a couple of moments where there are lots of choices possible. And I am just making choices based on my subjective creativity. Right? It could totally be that, or it could be there's lots of color shifting and little chord quality choices that you can make. But you see the bass note motion and the idea of lifting, which correlates for me to that slash chord, that leading tone slash chord, is what really drove the momentum of this. And I'm following that pattern and that strategy to get all the way through. Let me show you another sheet here. Okay, this one is a strategy inventory that I made for my students. And there's so many ways. This is not every way, but this is a lot of the ways. Dominant cadence, tritone sub, plagal cadence, minor plagal, 2/5s and all the variations of 2/5s, backdoor, and the variations on backdoor, the leading diminished, which we used, the leading tone slash chord, which we used. There's the diminished resolution from like the 1 diminished to the 1, which we did not use in this, but it's a cool one. Parallel chords, which we used. Chromatic dominant, which we didn't, but we could have. Common tones. You know what? That's already inherent in this tune, so it's there. One of the most common ways to do this common tone thing in modern jazzy music is to take the 3rd and the 7th of a minor chord, and the left hand just moves down a half step, and it's the 3rd and the 7th of a major chord. So that is inherent in this tune already. Right? In fact, this whole vamp is kind of a common tone vamp. With those 3 notes. We're really departing from it, though. Okay, that's my modern jazz version. All right, drawing from quite a few of these strategies. Now, let's look at the neo-soul version, and then we'll call it a day. All right, in my neo-soul version, I'm thinking much more in the style, which is less strategies, right? We got parallel chords, especially parallel minors, majors, and susses. We got common tones, and we got chromatic dominants. Chromatic dominants are super important. All right, and we have some cadence, but typically in neo soul, your cadence is going to be like not just like a classical cadence. It's going to be like a sus chord, like that, or it's going to be like an altered dominant. Right? And then the chromatic dominants happen a lot. So we have C7 altered to D flat major. In this case, I'm not using a chromatic dominant to a major chord. I'm going from a major chord chromatically down and then to a sus. But you could totally go from here, right? And have it sound very neo-soul with that chromatic dominant. Okay, so so that's our first move, immediately situating us in neo-soul. Obviously, I'm giving you a backbeat too, but all right. And just look, this top note is the 7 of G minor, and it's the 9 of E flat minor. All right, this is very typical that the top note is the 7 of a minor chord or the 9 of a minor chord, sometimes the 11. All right. Guaranteed flats. C. What is C the 7 of? D minor. Now, common tones. 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7, D flat major. Parallel motion. Parallel motion because of the melody. And then parallel motion to B flat major, the relative major of G minor, right? And that gives us a color shift. All of these parallel almost always gives you color shift. But here, that's color shift from what you expect, because you expect G minor. Now we got this chromatic dominant. Going now to A flat sus, which is this is basically the same chord as E flat minor, but now we got A flat in the bass. So part of how I came up with this part is just changing the bass note. It was like, should this be E flat minor or should this be A flat sus? What if it's both? One, the first time it's E minor, and the second time it's B flat major to A flat sus. We could have gone to E flat minor, it's fine. That gives us some opportunity to change it up. Now when we resolve here, we're resolving to D flat major, and it's a 5-to-1. Functional cadence. Parallel. And then I get a little fun extra in here, which is now, why? Why? It's always the question, right? Why? I'm going down from B major 7, B flat minor 7, A flat minor 7, because I got to get to G minor 7, right? And so I'm going to use parallel structures again and do it in a way that's really stylistic, right? So like off beats, hip kind of laid back. So, parallel minors, just a review. This is parallel minor as well, but it also is common tone with the D flat. Then parallel majors. Notice, I'm not just choosing any parallel major, right? I'm following the melody. Melody goes down a whole step. So let's move the harmony down a whole step. That's not always the case, but it's why not start there? And if it's good, do it. This is chromatic dominant to a sus chord. I just changed the bass note from what it was before, E flat to A flat. Now it's a sus. And what does that want to do? It wants to resolve to D flat major. And that works with our melody, so let's go. B major, quick, walk down with parallels. All right, so those are two examples of what you can do. Really applying a strategic framework, right? And an inventory of knowledge, harmonic knowledge, and then the skill to execute it, right? So obviously practicing is a big deal. And speaking of which, before I say goodbye, I'll play you my new kind of promo video, and I want to invite you to the inspiredcontemporarypianist.com. No, the inspiredcontemporarypianist.com. It's under construction, but it's good enough to be up there. There's a lot of free stuff, masterclass, some materials that I created, and there's a course that I just created on practicing. I think it's invaluable. Okay, so that's going to be coming out soon. I've got commercial piano courses, jazz piano courses, and of course just opportunities to study with me and interact with me in the community. So go to inspiredcontemporarypianist.com and join the community. It's free. And get in touch with me if you're interested in more. All right. Take care, y'all. Umiharu, great to see you. Thank you for coming. Nope. This is so core to how I play with intention and authenticity, and without the pressure to just regurgitate those great ideas over and over and over again throughout a solo. All of those things can become generative strategies that lead into motivic development and allow you to really tell a story in the moment. So let me demonstrate for you, instrument specific. voicing the melody with seventh chords is essentially the same as voicing the melody with triads. The top note has to be the melody. The very first example here is gospel style, and we're using a melody that goes da 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 da, starting on D7. 2, 3, and 4. To F sharp diminished, G minor 7. Use a C over E, going down to E flat, C minor, back to D7. Here's your leading tone diminished chord. Here's your leading tone slash chord that doesn't resolve to where you think it's going to resolve. That C over E should go to F, but it doesn't. It goes down to E flat, and that's one of the things that's so cool about those chords. All right, so we're kind of combining everything that we've learned up to this point. This is a big moment of shift, right? Kind of set it up harmonically with that modulation, then change to minor. All right, if you're ever at a loss of like, I really want to change, but what should I do? Try changing the chord type that you're on. Don't even go to a new key or new chord, just change the chord type. I went from G flat major to G minor. Woo! And then that presents a whole other opportunity. That creates a ton of implications. And the music is what tells you what the implications are. And being able to like toggle a little, just enough,
I love
right?
it. I love
To
it.
be like, well, at least I'm, aware of what pattern is happening here,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage you, man, to like use this mental practice framework
Yeah.
every time
Love it.
you're practicing, and you'll forget about it because
Right.
we all do. We just get into like focusing on whatever the notes and the techniques and stuff, but just
Right.
come back to it again and again.
That's really good. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
Ooh. Oh, you could use the tritone sub. And I like that. Man, so many possibilities. So I hope you enjoyed going through this with me. I hope you'll go through it yourself and really start honing in on how to have your own distinct voice that's not trapped by the language of the masters, right? But it's influenced and it's integrated, right? These are gifts that the masters gave us, not obligations and not straight up prescriptions. They're gifts, they're musical golden nuggets for us to take and to shape in our own ways.